Alright, today I'm going to be scrapping this computer monitor. Basic tools you're going to need. I got a cordless drill with a 6-in-1. Got the small Phillips 3/16, large Phillips, large flat, 1/4 inch. Handy tool. I'm going to use my drill. Probably going to need my large flat for prying stuff apart. I need a pair of wire cutters. I like these because they got the pivot point, or the fulcrum, close to the cutting edge. You got nice long handles. They're really easy on the cutting. Your wrists don't get sore so fast. And channel locks. I like channel locks because you can adjust them one-handed. They're really nice. And whenever I scrap TVs, I always put on a rubber glove and then my work gloves. I'll explain that later. First thing you do is just get all the screws out. There isn't going to be too many of them. Oh, this is going to be And this wire, just cut it short, get it out of the way. This is number 2 coated copper, just the way it is. Don't go cutting the plug end off. Don't go cutting none of these things off. That's number 2 coated copper. Now this is where you want the rubber glove. In here is a thing called a flyback. That can hold a lot of voltage for a long time. I got juiced really good earlier this year. The spark that jumped out to my finger was like an inch long. I'm lucky it didn't stop my heart. To disarm it, you want to unplug that from the bulb. Can you see that thing? You want to ground it out to stuff on the circuit board. You want to ground it out to something. And now it's discharged. You want to avoid breaking the circuit board. Circuit board's worth more if you don't break it. Alright, now that that's off, now this right here, this is the degausser. This is 99% of the time copper. This is just like electrical tape. You strip this easily. And almost all this wire is strippable. Now, believe it or not, the scrap yard will take this just how it is copper bearing. But I'm going to show you how to get a little bit more money out of this. Now we're almost done with the TV here. Nice little piece of circuit board. Now in order to get this off, I forgot to mention that you need a hammer. You need a hammer. I make my own. A piece of round stock welded to a piece of pipe. Just give it a little crack, and you're going to hear air getting sucked in. It's a vacuum, and that's air going in. There, it went, done. And this comes off. And That's all garbage. There's a little bit of copper left here. Alright, I got the rubber gloves off. This has been discharged. Don't touch that just to be safe. But to discharge, you want to ground it out to something on the circuit board. There's a ground here somewhere, so I usually, you know, because that will give you one nasty zap. And this is the degauser. I already shaved a little bit off with my pocket knife, but this is all, I don't know, it's number 2 coated copper, but you can sneak it in with your number 1 or sneak it in with your bright wire. But all my coated copper goes inside the house, and I strip it all inside. This right here is number 2 copper. It looks like it's braided steel, but you know, a magnet don't stick to it. So it is number 2 copper. Like I said, this is going to go in my bucket. Just pretty much clean up. Now, see this little piece of circuit board and this plug? This is number 2 coated copper, just the way it is. Just the way it is. They'll pay you for that. And you know, brass bearing plug end, it's like worth like, I don't know, 14 cents a pound. Circuit board's like 70 cents a pound. Coated copper is worth like $1.30. So remember, you're getting paid by the pound, not by the hour. Now, this wire, this is not worth even trying to strip. I've tried to strip one before. Don't even waste your time. Even with the plastic and the rubber, this is number 2 coated copper. Just the way it is. Well, pretty much just get all your copper off. I like to try to get the plug, the plug too. Cut it all as short as you can. No big deal. It goes pretty quick. Now what you got here is a nice big piece of number 2 circuit board. I've already taken these screws out, but I always try to get the aluminum off if I can. I missed one. Don't want to break this. See if I can cut underneath it. What you want to do is you want to keep this circuit board as heavy as possible. Sometimes you can cut them from the back. Because copper bearing's only like 15 cents a pound. There we go. Now I can probably bend it. Oh, there's another screw. Yeah. Blood. Nope. Got some aluminum. Right in the bucket. Now you want to keep this as heavy as possible. Don't want to take this off. What you want to take off, only stuff that you know you can get the copper out of. I know I can get the copper out of this, so I'm going to take that off. I know I can get the copper out of this, so I'm going to take this off, and another piece of aluminum. And I know I can get the copper out of this. The rest of this stuff leave right on there. They'll still give you number two circuit board for it. You gotta just get the 10 off of it. They don't want the 10. They'll still give you number 2 circuit board for it. I want this brass. There's brass in here. I'll get it later. Yeah, they're still going to give you number 2 circuit board for this. Ooh, I didn't even see that. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. This is number 2 circuit board, just the way it is. Don't take the flyback off. This thing's a pain in the ass to get the copper out of. And so aren't these things. These little transformers. You know, it's bands of copper wrapped with pieces of tape. It'll take you forever to get the copper out of these. Yeah, so just leave these right on the circuit board. Leave that right on the circuit board. It's still number 2 circuit board. And what's going to happen at the scrapyard is they got people who work there who know what these things are. Some of these have, you know, gold and platinum inside of them, and they'll actually use a heat gun or a torch, and they'll pull certain things off the circuit board. And, you know, they'll take this off and throw this in their copper bearing tub. You know, we'll let them do that shit. Oh, and these tips are brass. I usually cut those off too. Remember, anything with a connector on is probably brass. Yeah, this is all number 2 circuit board. Don't go breaking stuff off of it. You just rip yourself off. Right in the bucket, just the way it was. Now this looks like stainless, but it's too bendable. Yeah, see, a magnet sticks to it. So that's just all 10. And like I said, all these plug-ins, these are all brass. So I'll cut these really short and I'll put these in my brass bucket. But for now they go up into the house. I strip all my copper inside. And this, you pretty much basically know that you can, you know, use a large flathead and pry this out. Cut it open. You can get that circuit board out. There you go, abracadabra. Just like that. I'm going to leave it just like that. We got 10 in circuit board. Now as for this stuff, all the stuff I took off the circuit board. This stuff, all you have to do, give it a couple light taps with a hammer. Look at that. Copper. All this stuff. See that? This thing too, all this stuff. Just give it a couple whacks with a hammer and it's out. Now as for this thing, I usually do all my hammering on my bashing block. Okay, I'm down here on the bashing block. Here's some of the stuff that came off the circuit board. Just give it a little tap with a hammer. Look at that, right in the number, just like that, right in the number 2 copper bucket. Just like that, right in the number 2 copper bucket. Same with these guys. Just like that. And for this guy, there's some stainless in here. I'm not wasting my time with it. I'm just going to throw it in the garbage. And this stuff here is cast iron. Oh, there's some stainless. This stuff here is cast iron. I'll get that with the magnet afterwards. Just like that. Right into the number 2 bucket. This I'm going to sneak in with my bright wire. And that's about it. Let's see what we got. I'll put it all together. Alright, that didn't take too long. It only took me about 10 minutes. It was about a half beer job. Got about a pound of number 2. A little piece of steel on that. They don't care. Half the people that work there get minimum wage. They don't care. They'll give me number 2 for all that. I got about a quarter of a pound of bright wire. About a pound of number 2. I got about a pound of coated copper. It's $1.30 a pound, but I'm going to strip it all. I got some tin. I got those 2 little pieces of aluminum. And I got all the circuit board that's in this bucket. And remember, leave this right on the circuit board. That's a pain in the butt to get the copper out of. So leave that right on there. And if you know you can't get the copper out of it, leave it right on there. It makes the circuit board heavier. This is 75 cents a pound. You know, because once you pull this off, that becomes copper bearing. And copper bearing is like 15 cents a pound. It's like the flyback. That's only 15 cents a pound if you take it off. So leave it all on the circuit board. Alright, well, thanks for watching.